Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time here today to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. In honor of F1 season being over, we're rocking the Mercedes swag. That's what I was trying to say. We got the cat. Zelda's trying to sneak her way out right here. What are you doing? So today we're going to be doing a real talk, which I haven't filmed, I feel like, in a minute. And basically I just kind of wanted to like check in with you guys and just let y'all know like what's been happening, all that good stuff. So sit back, grab a snack or, a drink. Got some tea today, as we always do, and let's just dive in. So basically, a couple weeks ago, we were having a rough time. Mental health wise. The good news is that we're doing a lot better right now, which is great. But mental health is always just like an up and down like sort of thing, you know what I'm saying? And I that week I had gone and no, I don't think it was that week. It might have been the week prior. Yes, it was the week prior, and I was basically like, it was kind of like on the start of like when I, wasn't doing super great. And I had gone and I had played Magic, and I just had like a terrible night. Like, those nights where it's just like nothing goes right. And I think, and I've said this before, it was like, I don't care if I lose a game of Magic. What I do care about is when I feel like I don't draw well, when I feel like I don't do the things that I'm trying to do, basically. Because my deck is just like, nah, I'm not performing today. You know what I'm saying? And I had just like a really terrible night where I played I didn't actually play that many games. I only played like 3 games that one night, and one of the games I won't even really count because I was doing actually fine, and I cheated for my infinite combo, and then I died, which is totally justifiable, and I was like, yeah, totally fair. Kill me, if you don't, it's all over. So that happened. But then I don't remember the first game that I played, but the third game and the final game where I was just like, I just need to leave, is I just didn't draw well. And I think one thing that I was talking to Paul and our friend Travis about is I was like, I'm someone who tries really hard to build my decks in a very consistent way. Like for me, I don't want to build the deck that's a glass cannon. I want to build something where I'm able to have multiple spots of removal, multiple mana acceleration, multiple ways to draw cards, right? Like I try to do these things to make my deck as evenly balanced as possible. I would rather a deck that is more consistent, where maybe it has a win rate that's a little bit lower, than a deck that has a much higher win rate, but it's not as consistent. Like it's not as consistent to do that, if that makes sense. And so basically I've kind of been, so anyway, so I had that struggle, and then I was basically like, Paul, I'm just feeling like really overwhelmed right now. And he's like, okay, he's like, what can we do to like make things like less overwhelming or whatever? And so basically we kind of like talked through like ways that we could do it. And so I decided that week to take a week off of uploading, which is why I didn't upload that week. And then that's also why you guys saw last week that I had 3 videos, because I was going to post my haul anyway, and I wanted to make up for, because I had all the videos filmed, I just need to edit them. So I took a week off of editing, and I feel like I really, sustainability wise, y'all, I just feel like I really needed that. So I took a little bit of time off, and I feel like I sustainability wise really needed that. And what we actually did is we invited some of our new friends, Jorge and Ruben, over to our house, and we played just the 4 of us, and I really enjoy them as people, and I really enjoy playing against them in Magic, because I feel like they're at the same level that we all are, and they're just really kind. And I feel like it can be really hard a lot of times to find people who are at a similar level to where you are at in Commander, because there's such a huge range. And so anyways, so we had them over, and it was really nice, and we played a couple of games, we ordered pizza. It was just a great time. And also too, and I don't know if I mentioned this in videos, but we're getting some house renovations done, and I feel like I've been mentioning this since literally the summer, and it's still happening. We've had like nightmares about just these things. Like so many things have gone wrong in these projects, but it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get these floors done eventually. And anyways, so it's kind of been inhibiting us from inviting a lot of people over to our house, because there's tile like boxes of tiles just casually around not around our house. They're in a central location, but moral of the story anyways is that it's been harder to gather a bunch of my friends over. And I haven't seen a lot of my friends because, as I had mentioned, my previous game store had closed. And so basically we had found our new game store, and not everyone goes to this one game store. Like, my friends kind of just go wherever. And so we've kind of just been making like new friends and stuff, which has been great. We've been, it's kind of like a mix of like, people we've known and then like new people, like our new friends. And so that's been really cool. And so I think the other thing too that I've been feeling like really frustrated by, and I really would love to know how y'all are feeling about this too. Well, I would say like two aspects. And the first aspect is, one, Wizards is just producing too much product. And I'm really just genuinely over it. Like, guys, like people keep asking me, like I've had so many questions, be like, oh, did you open anything from Brothers War? Did you do this? I was like, I literally do not care about this set, guys. Like, I don't care. And I'm so happy that so many people like are really excited about it and are like, yeah, Brothers War. And like, honestly, I literally thought about doing like a whole video on like just this, and I might still do that at some point, but I'm just so over like the amount of products that are coming out, pretty much. Like, I'm just so over it. So Brothers War comes out, and like everyone is posting about these like the new ones that have like the number on it, and guys, like I literally don't care like at all. Like I think it's honestly ridiculous, and I think it's so silly, and it's totally a marketing scheme and totally a marketing tactic, and I literally am like, this is such a money grab, and I literally just don't care. I don't. And so that happened, and so I'm not kidding you guys, I want one card from the set. Like, that's how little I care. It would be cool to get an old bordered Mox Amber, but I'm not like, I really want it. I would just be like, it would be cool to get, if someone just casually has a foil one for trade, like that'd be cool. But anyways, so that's happening. And so the sheer amount of stuff that's coming out, and it's kind of one of those things where this is like the best comparison that I can basically give is, have you guys ever seen, I think it's Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. It's like this really old thing. This was like a huge part of my childhood, as I watched it like every Christmas and I loved it. Basically, if you don't know it, there's this one episode where Huey, Dewey, and Louie wake up and every single day it's Christmas. It's like the Groundhog's Day basically movie or whatever. I've actually never seen that movie, but it's the effect or whatever. Anyways, so they wake up and every day it's Christmas, and then basically as they kind of realize that it's just losing its magic. To me, that's the same comparison. Is it feels like they're trying to make every single day Christmas or every month Christmas, and Christmas is losing its magic. Well, that aspect, Christmas is not losing its magic, but like in that analogy, that's what's going on. And so basically I've just been like over it, whatever. So not really participating. I haven't really been keeping up. I haven't done a set overview in a while because, guys, I just haven't cared. Like, I just haven't. There's been so much product that's been going on, and I've had no desire to really talk about a lot of stuff because I haven't been excited about a lot of stuff. And I think the other aspect too that's been kind of really overwhelming me lately, and again, I've thought about doing a whole video on this, so let me know if you're interested in this, is just talking about like power creep. I feel like what is happening with Magic is they are trying to fit as many words as possible in a card. And it's like a competition where it's like, let's produce the most broken, dumb Magic card. And to be honest with you guys, I'm just kind of sick of it. I feel like I go into any set with I'm very picky. I'm not someone who goes in and I was like, I want like 20 of these cards, unless it's like one of those master sets because they're reprints and I usually just need a handful of those. But sets where there's new cards or whatever, I don't feel like there's usually going to be a handful of cards that I want. I'm very, very picky. And lately it just feels like everything is upped this power level. And I just feel like it's kind of like, it feels like sometimes when I play Commander, it's like, let's just try to do things as quickly as possible. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing well. And I hate that. Like, I just do. And it feels like, it makes me feel sometimes too, where I felt like a little bit of pressure in my friend group to be like, to just get a lot of really expensive cards, which is why I have a lot of different people who I play Magic with in my friend group, and some of my friends just have that more than others, where like one of my friends, Brad, for example, definitely has more powerful decks, but it's not like he's trying to do... I'm trying to explain this in a way, and I think this is sometimes too like a really tough thing for me to explain, because like there are times where I can do extremely powerful things as well, but I'm not trying to do that by turn 5. Does that make sense? I feel like I am someone I want a tempo. Like that's like basically all I want to do is I just want to like, okay, like I'm going to play my, mana acceleration thing, and then I'm going to remove something, and then whatever. And then I'm not trying to get my infinite combo off on like this ridiculous turn or whatever. And sometimes those ridiculous things happen. Like there was one game where like Paul played, I might have talked about this, where Paul was playing Joda and he killed everybody. He got this infinite combo out on like turn 5 or whatever. And he was like, I've never done that before. He's like, I probably won't do that again in the future at a very much, I'll do it in the future, but it'll be at a much later point or whatever. And I feel like it's just like, now it's like everything is like, go, 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 rush, 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 do all this stuff. And I'm just like, sometimes like, I just want to play like my Sliver Queen on turn 5. Like, I don't want to do this like dumb, ridiculous thing, And like, some people might say like, oh, playing Sliver Queen on turn 5 is still really powerful. And I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just I'm having a really hard time explaining this, where it's like, I want to do powerful things, but I don't want to do like the most ridiculous, dumb, and incredible things. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm really struggling to explain this right now. But anyways, that has been definitely a struggle. And so for those reasons, I've just been like, ooh, whoa. And then I think, honestly, really finding Ruben and finding Jorge as like friends and playing with them, it feels like a breath of fresh air, because I'm like, oh, like they're more at where we are at. And it's just really cool. And one thing I've also been finding a lot of is, one thing I think is really, really cool is if you're someone who, has commander decks that are really powerful, you have infinite combos, whatever, right? If you're someone who has those things, you don't always have to play your ridiculous, dumb, broken thing or whatever. Like I was playing a game the other day where I just like held back from playing this one thing because I was like, I'm just gonna let things, play out as they will or whatever. And it was still so fun. So I think that's one of the cool things about having that, is just because I feel like it's a really cool thing to make it so where everyone's pretty even. And there was a really cool game, which I want to talk about these games, this past time where I played Magic, and I had such a fun time, guys. I'm so excited to tell you about it. So basically, I went to play Magic, and I want to say I played 3 or 4 games. It seems to be kind of like how much we're able to fit into a night or whatever. Sometimes commander games go on, a real long time or whatever. And so, guys, what was the first game that I played? I truly do not remember, but I played a Riku game. And I had so much fun, guys. It's just, this deck is wild, and I just love this deck so much. And even Riku, who is extremely powerful, and you guys will see an upcoming deck tech because the deck's changed quite a bit, actually, pretty soon. And even so, I was doing really powerful stuff, and I ended up winning. I don't even remember, like, what, but I was at like 2 life or whatever, and I was so close to being dead. And honestly, Trav, so it was the 3 of us. So it was me, Paul, and Trav. And Trav decided to Maze of Ith one of Paul's creatures. So Paul had attacked like all of his stuff at me. He was playing, I think he was playing Karametra or something. I don't remember what he was playing. But he was like swinging at me, and then he's like, I'm gonna Maze of Ith, whatever. He should not have done that, because I ended up winning like the following turn or whatever. And then Paul's like, people need to stop being nice to you. That's what he said. He's like, people need to just not take your side and not help you out and not do things, because you're always the problem, Tracy. Paul, I'm telling them how you always say that I'm the problem in Commander. This is very true. Very true. I'm usually the problem child in Commander. So, anyways, I ended up winning that game, and then we split pods. Oh, okay, yes, I do remember this now. Okay, so we split pods, and then I played Reen. I really, really love Reen, and I want to make a couple of adjustments to that deck. I want to just add a little bit more mana acceleration, because the deck is a little bit on the slower side, and a lot of the CMC is a little bit higher, because I'm playing these big Naya creatures for the most part. So basically, I want to tweak that just a little bit. And we split pods, and then I was playing with Jorge, and then I was playing with his friend Roberto, who's also a Formula One fan, so that was super fun. So we chatted a lot about Formula One, which was great. And so we played with him, and this was my first time playing, so I had like really no like expectations, like I didn't really know. And so I was like, I'm gonna pick Reen, because Reen is kind of that like sort of what I talked about earlier. I can do these really, really powerful things, but it's a little bit on the slower side, and I can always hold back my powerful stuff. Like, it's a deck that I can balance out really well. So I was like, okay, let me play Reen. That seems like to be a pretty safe bet. And I will say, out of my like more powerful decks, like my 5, Angels, Tasigur, Omnath, Riku, and Reen, I would say out of those, Reen is like on that lower like power level sort of scale. Again, it can do really powerful things, but it needs a little bit more mana acceleration, I think, to put it over the edge. So I was like, okay, I'll play Reen. He just popped off that game, and then I was just like, Roberto, so I was like, okay, I cannot do anything. So I was like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna play this again because I didn't really do much. So I played again, guys, and I was ridiculous. I was just absolutely going off this game, and it was such a good game because Brad had joined us for this game. I believe so we had 4 people, and I'm pretty sure this was the last game of the night, and it was one of those games that afterwards we were like, everyone did such cool stuff that game. And that is my favorite. That is my ultimate favorite thing, is when everyone is like, that was a great game. Everybody felt like they were on the same playing field. And that was really, really cool. And so, I had accelerated pretty well in that game. And I had just the most crazy creatures. I had Rhythm of the Wild, and so I was able to give all my stuff haste, and so I was able to punch super hard. And then I have the card Knight of New Alara in that deck, which is really awesome because the majority of my creatures get +3/+3 because they're all the color types. Even if not, they're +2/+2, which is still really good, and I'm playing all these big things. And so I was able to just do that, and I tutored for that with Captain Sisay, which was great. And so I was able to just get like, and I had haste, so I got that, and then I did all this damage or whatever. And yeah, wow, that was just like such a fun game. So it was really, really cool, and I had a great night. And then afterwards I was like, that was so fun. I was like, I had like such a great time, and I was like, and even if I didn't win that Reen game, it would have just been it was such a good game. It was like, we were all afterwards, like, whatever, I did like 50 something damage in one turn, and it was just so incredibly cool. And so I think Brad had died due to something else, and then I had killed Jorge and Roberto, and that was really, really fun. So it was like a really great night, and so I'm really excited to play. I think I'm gonna actually play twice this week, which I'm really excited about, and just kind of like getting back into it. But I also wanted to chat with you guys because I kind of wanted to talk about like making my other decks kind of at a similar level to those 5, my most 5 powerful decks. So first, I decided to make some changes to Tamishi. And basically, what I decided I think I would like to do with Tamishi instead of doing like this bounce house theme, is basically I kind of want to do a more just like death, taxes, counter spell sort of jam. Kind of sort of just a fun little Azorius thing. So I'm going to change that deck up quite a bit, actually, and I don't want to talk too much about like what I want to do because I have to really sit down and I have to really figure out, but that's kind of like the general overview. That's kind of what I want to do, is I want to take out the bounce cards and I want to put in these just like more counter spells, more death and taxes, more ways of making my spells, you know, cost less. And I think I decided I want my commander to be Grand Arbiter because this card is real good, so I decided that I want to do that. Pretty sure that's still up in the air. The commander itself is still up in the air, but that's kind of like the whole idea. I love those colors. So anyways, then I also decided too that I want to change up Teysa, because Teysa has not been at a spot, like I just don't play her, and it's one of those things where it's like if someone's like, oh, let's play more lower power level, that's never the deck that I grab. You know what I'm saying? I grab Mugus always instead, because that doesn't happen a lot, right? Normally when we sit down, it's someone's not like, oh, let's play something lower power. It's usually you know, upper power levels. So I was going to take her apart, but I decided that I'm not going to take it apart. I decided because I love Orzhov and I have a lot of these really cool Orzhov cards, like a lot of these core pieces, I decided that I'm going to change the commander. This is another thing that is still up in the air. I do not know fully what I'm going to do with this deck. I was possibly thinking of doing Athreos, God of Passage, because I thought I could do Graveyard Recursion and I could do stuff coming back, and then I thought that that would be really cool, and like stuff dying and like, you know, the whole shebang there. And I thought that would be really cool. So that's still up in the air. I don't want to make it fully like Tasigur or whatever, you know, because Tasigur also does that, but it's just an idea. It's just like a thought. So I'm going to see about that and kind of look into that. But those are like the two changes that I will say I'm looking to do. I kind of just need to sit down and like figure out what I need and like place an order, and then just like figure out, like I need to look through, you know, our boxes and stuff, because right now I'm not playing with Teysa and I'm not playing with Tamishi because I still have a couple of those bounce cards in there and I want to take those out before I play it. So those are on like the back burner. I'm not playing those right now. So I want to get them to where I can play them. So I'll probably sit down this week and figure out what I need in those decks. So that's kind of like a quick little EDH updates about like what I'm going to do with those decks. And so I still don't have another project that I want to work on. Like right now, those are the projects. You know, I don't have a new project that I'm looking to do because nothing's really sticking out to me right now, guys. I was talking to Paul a little bit and I was like, what do I want to do? I was like, what color combination do I want to do? What's kind of the jam? So, but yeah, I'm kind of still working on, you know, making the other decks more powerful. I had a couple of new zombie cards come in, like a couple of cards that I just wanted to lower the curve a little bit and like make that deck just a little bit better, which I've kind of been talking about. Like that's kind of what one of my goals was this year, was to kind of just look through my decks and make them just a lot better, which I've definitely been doing. And I'm still in the process of doing that. So yeah, but I think that's everything for this real talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any upcoming Commander projects that you're working on or anything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you in my next one.